And I wanted to talk about money wounds today at the root of some of our systemic, physical, mental, and spiritual health symptoms. I wrote a blog on this on the paleocounselor.com I have all of this information written out. I'm going to do a Facebook Live video on my business page after this and dive into this on a different platform. So, our culture is obsessed with going hard and hustling and achieving and making money and celebrities and all of this. And that re-traumatizes individuals or populations that have had childhood trauma, grew up in poverty, intergenerational trauma, all of it. And there is a correlation between those deep money wounds and how the symptoms play out in our body. And it's really at the core of resolving this wound. And it's so difficult to pin this one down because it's sneaky, elusive, it's tricky, and the symptoms are weird. And it's really hard to pin that down because we go at it from the medical model of what's your symptom? Oh, you have anxiety, you have depression. Here you go, and then send you on your way. Well, what's the root of that? And this is not knocking on physicians. They don't have the time. They have 7 minutes to be with individuals. But digging into that deep internal work is what I'm talking about today. So I wrote an infographic about the deep systemic symptoms that you may see as a result of a money wound. My personal symptom was deep, pervasive shame about who I was, and all of it. And so it could look like shame and blame. It's not my fault, it's your fault. I'm a first generation college student, grew up intergenerational poverty in one of the most deadly cities of the United States. And understanding that I am Caucasian and having obtained poverty education from colleagues, Rama McCoy, Brian Dennis, and Brianne Ward, helping me understand about myself, even some of these deep wounds, and understanding poverty mindset and poverty culture. And that really helped me understand my upbringing in a city where it was very diverse, and just some of the deep systemic wounds of my friends and family and how we looked at finances. Growing up without food and growing up without clothing, growing up having stacks of bills that were never opened because of the fear, having things shut off, just all of it, and just having shame around my home and all of it. And that played itself out in a lot of different ways. And I oftentimes, when we start to dig into these wounds, we overcorrect. We go to the other side. So I told myself I need to get a degree and make a lot of money. And so I did that, and then still not happy. So then the deep work is unraveling like an onion what is at the core of these deep money wounds. And this is something so I work for the state of Iowa with individuals with disabilities and chronic illness as a vocational counselor. And understanding poverty and understanding the trauma has been so important to facilitating root level healing for my clients, because it dives into our sense of worth, who we are, what we go for, our relationships, our careers, our mental and physical health. Nothing is untouched by these deep wounds if left unhealed. This could look like a toxic relationship, attracting a partner with a similar money wound. And there's the reason that divorce is the number one financial reasons are the number one cause of divorce. And it's not financial reasons, it's unhealed money wounds that are the number one reason of divorce and relationship dysfunction. It could look like deep, pervasive unworthiness as well. I wrote up an infographic, and you can't contain in one infographic all of the symptoms because they can be very personal to your unique situation. They can also be very culturally connected. They can be societally connected. And my standpoint is I'm a Caucasian woman that grew up in intergenerational poverty in a diverse mid-sized city. That's in the Midwest. That's my lens that I'm looking at. Yes, I've obtained training, but I cannot speak to what it looks like in this culture, in this area. It's pervasive. It has its own symptoms. A lot of times, especially practitioners who look like me, don't understand that poverty mindset, don't understand the tattoos and the cars and the outfits and things that is an expression of, hey, I'm trying to make it here. The flossing and the fronting, that from where I come from, those are the words. That comes with the deep money wounds, and it plays itself out in a lot of ways. And then on top of that, we're never taught about how to manage our money. Thankfully, my high school had a home economics class, and it was my first, I think I was a senior in high school. That was my first education on, oh my gosh, I can actually get a handle on some of this. Honestly, one of my favorite classes besides my health class in high school. And I love that so much. And at that time, we were like balancing checkbooks. I was like, oh my gosh, we can really get a handle on this. And so that's when I really started digging into the that money wound, because having that information and awareness of, okay, and then looking back on my family and culture and understanding where it came from, and starting to change behavior. So to heal money wounds, it's an deep emotional journey. And I wrote up 10 things to do to start to emotionally heal these money wounds. And this comes from lived experience, research, ancient texts, new information. I try to combine the information that I have with poverty mindset, and then the PTSD or the trauma that's involved with some of these deep money wounds. The first step on this healing journey is to suffer. And I know this is kind of a wild one, but we don't start to heal anything unless we have that deep suffering inside of us. So if you're suffering from a money wound, congratulations, this is your entry point to healing. The second thing is to start to self-investigate your wound. Pay attention to your emotions. What events are triggering you? What conversations are hard for you to have? And when did these come up? You have to dive deep into your unique money wound situation. And this has a cultural lens. This has a societal lens. This has a family lens that's attached to it. And like I said, it's an onion that you're peeling back the layers. Number 3, allow yourself to feel the emotions and work to release those emotions. There's misinformation out there that says just let it go, let it go. Let it go is a bypass. Let it go actually doesn't heal. Letting it go, you're not working through actually feeling your emotions, which takes you further away from healing. You actually have to feel where in your body that the emotions come up to start to balance that. That's why I have a picture of the nervous system, because I'm a limbic system dysfunction practitioner. And that helps individuals get into their mind and body and see how it's connected, so that we can learn to actually feel emotions. Because if you come from that mindset where it's like toughen up, hustle hard or go home, be hard, be strong, you're tough, you're tough, you're tough. That was my mindset growing up. I wasn't allowed to feel, or felt like I was allowed to feel, those emotions. And so I've had to learn to feel, where does that come in my body? Where does that, how can I release and transmute that? Okay, so number 4, release the emotion. And this is where you start to unbind from trauma in real time. Trauma, the body keeps the score. Read that book. So trauma stays in your body, and it's very elusive where that attaches to. It's like, oh, I have chronic neck pain. Well, when did that start? Okay, because trauma is going to stay in your body at the cellular level. This is where mental health and physical symptoms show up in the body as chronic health conditions and diseases, because we're not releasing trauma and energy as it comes to us. So start to unbind from the trauma. And that is not blaming. That is releasing. That is feeling the emotions, but not becoming the emotions. And then the 5th step is hard. Okay, so as you work through this, there's some guidelines on the website as how to do this. Start to observe your emotions, your ego, and the story. This comes from after a practice of actually even feeling your emotions. You have to feel it, learn to release it, and not become before you can start to observe. Meditation, yoga, breath work, a lot of these practices help us learn to start to observe our emotions, observe our ego. I've named my ego Becky. Thank you, Becky, for keeping me safe. And then the stories that are playing in the background, most of the time, these stories aren't even our stories. They're stories of our society, our culture, our family. And our ego is kind of a ball of trauma that has kept us stay safe. And so it's created a lens to look at the world in which that we stay safe, but then we stay in these stories that really aren't serving us well. And so a practice of meditation, yoga, mindfulness, breathing, whatever that is for you, walking in nature, cooking, there's so many ways to detach from the story that is playing in the background so that you can question it, look at it for what it is as false junk mail, unsubscribe, thank you, next. Okay. So once you're observing the emotions, observing the ego, observing the stories, and taking a step back from that, and you can see that for what that is, that's another step in the healing journey. Know that not everyone's going to be in your corner, and not, as far as you healing, not everyone's going to be excited about you healing because you're going to show up in the world different. This can be very hard for families when you start to do things very differently. And this can be very hard for friend groups, relationships, any type of human interaction out there where you're showing up as a more healed version of yourself. It could be hard for individuals. The practice is sitting with being misunderstood, sitting with getting feedback thrown at you, and understanding that it says more about where that person is at than where you're at. And it's just part of the healing journey. So with that, number 7 is get support and education. Support could look like hiring a coach. Support could look like meeting with a financial advisor in the community. I have a lot of resources at the end of that article as far as free resources in the community that you can go to and get education and training. I have a friend who wrote a little bit for this article. She's my Dave Ramsey. She's my Susie Orman. And she teaches financial fitness to families in the community. And she gets it. And she's the one that I should share my financial successes with as I've healed my money. When she's the first person where I say, hey, look, this is my credit score now. Can you believe it? I've paid off this. And we actually celebrate together. And so find individuals that are on a journey like you are, because some individuals are going to fall off, quite frankly, and that's for your healing. Okay, so number 8 is replace negative habits with positive. I'm not someone who says you need to revamp your whole life. I'm someone who says start where you are, go with the opportunity that comes about first, go there, work on that. A habit's formed in 3 weeks, and then that creates a new neural pathway in your brain, neuroplasticity, and this is how humans can change. And so a new habit is formed, cross it off your list, go to the next negative habit and replace. So keep replacing till you eventually get to the end of the road and you're like, oh my God, I can't even believe where I'm at right now. And so you don't have to do everything at once. Start with where you're at. It's a journey. It does not have to be overwhelming. And especially if it's a financial wound. Financial wounds can be so overwhelming and they can be so triggering because it is so deep and fundamental to our worth and how society views us. Know that. Okay. Number 9, forgive yourself and other individuals over and over and over again. Along the healing journey, it's not just one level of forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive. No, it's deep. It's over and over and over again till you have nothing left to forgive. And start with yourself first. If you are in that shame and blame scenario, start with yourself first. You did the best that you could at the time with the information that you had. Otherwise, you would have done differently. So would the other person. However, if you can't enter there, enter with yourself. Number 10, as far as for emotional healing, is adopt a quiet time to balance yourself, because this is going to be hard work. And you need to go into a quiet space where there's no noise that's telling you to do this, that, the other. That's not sending you ads showing you that you're less than, buy this, buy that. This is a quick fix. Go here. This doctor will save you. This person will do. Go and have this relationship. Next, next, next. No, unsubscribe. This is where you unleash the inner healer that resides in all of us. And this is where you can adopt a stance where you're starting to make decisions that are more in line with who you really are, not with who you had to be while living in trauma. Here's your mantra: I am worthy. Put that on repeat, write it out, say it, meditate on it. I am worthy. I am worthy. Say it till you believe it. Then start to visualize. You can do this through future self journaling, visualizations, meditation, talking your way to being, and just radical self acceptance. But visualize the financially healed version of yourself. What is that person doing? How are they showing up in the world? What kind of job is that person doing if they're not working out of a trauma response? If they're not just, you can either hustle hard, that's a trauma response of a financial ruin, or you end up staying small. That's the inverse. That's how I have seen it. So for financial wellness, 10 tips. This is coming from my financial guru, Angela. Set a budget. Stick to it. Number 2, take advantage of your financial incentives at work, your 401k. If you work for yourself, max it out every year. Number 3, pay off debt. Start with the largest first. Number 4, get insurance on all levels. Shop around for the best deals. Number 5, financial heal with your partner or your family. This is a group effort. If you're married, if you have a partner, if you have a family, you can heal wounds together. You don't have to just say, oh, we both have financial wounds, I'm out of here. No, this gives you an opportunity to heal the whole system. Number 6, set a SMART goal. I'm not going to tell you what that is because part of self-healing is self-education. Type into Google, what's a SMART goal? Write it out. SMART. Write out your plan. That's your self-healing. Okay, number 7, do it yourself. DIY as much as you can to save money. With YouTube, there's no reason to not try something yourself first if it makes sense, okay? I should not be doing plumbing work myself. However, I can go and paint my fireplace and then hire out the plumbing. Okay, number 8, set a emergency fund. That looks like 3 to 6 months of your salary or your wages. Most Americans don't have $400 saved up for an emergency fund. That's a problem. These are financial wounds. This is why I'm talking about it. Number 9, set a power of attorney and a will. I know this is morbid, but guess what? Healing your financial wounds means that you don't leave your debt and your wounds for someone else in your family to carry it on. And number 10, evaluate and cancel things that you don't need. This is where you lean into the work. This is when you start answering the phone when bill collectors are calling and work with them because they can get you on a payment plan. And we don't have this anywhere, but check your credit score, please. Often, I've seen so many clients' cases where people have taken out loans in their names and have stolen their identities based on financial wounds, and it's a problem. And then the other thing is that there are a ton of community lenders and programs out there that work with populations in poverty and populations with financial wounds. Go seek those out. I have resources on my webpage. Hit it up. Got new client openings, but I got to do this next training. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.